Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels here. Welcome to the return of the Superstars of Wrestling series. We go into the month of May for 1995. We're going to run out of these pretty soon. We've still got a few left. Anyway, this is May the 6th, 1995, continuing our foray into this bit of history, and with over 2,700, it is certainly something you can check out that you will hopefully enjoy, at least to some level or degree. And we continue kind of going into a very basic series of matches here. And as mentioned, that beginning of May, the In Your House deal is upcoming and super basic, as it were. With the In Your House reality, a really basic run for wrestling, and we go kind of forward into the kind of foray into things here. Still lots of squash matches, lots of basic stuff, nothing necessarily worth writing home about by any stretch of the imagination. We do open up with Owen Hart and Yokozuna in a tag team match here. Squash style or actually not squash style, but the Head Shrinkers are here. Head Shrinkers against Yoko and Owen. The way to kick the program off this week. Tag team champions Owen and Yoko, relatively new to the tag team champions, also promotes the first vignettes, including Skip and Sonny of the Body Donnas. Basic things here. Owen Hart and Yokozuna facing off new Head Shrinkers. Yoko pins Sione with a bonsai drop off the bottom rope. Super basic run here, and it kind of goes forward there. And ultimately, kind of, really basic match here. The Head Shrinkers still around at the time, and which is not something I remembered from the time period by any stretch of the imagination, but Head Shrinkers and Yoko and friends, pretty basic run. Obviously, Owen getting his first world championship, which is good for him. Head Shrinkers brawling around a bit and taking over on Owen. Owen doing the majority of the heavy lifting for his team, as would be expected. Up and over Fatu and Samu are the runs here. Obviously, when Yoko does take over, gets a bit of shots in on his adversary, and ultimately, Yoko gets a couple of missed clotheslines and a pullback by Sione, very basic, and clotheslines Sione. Sione, otherwise known as the Barbarian, sends Yoko through the middle rope with kick to the outside. The Samoan family still going at it pretty well. Yoko trips Fatu from the outside, and there we go. Owen Hart comes in and jumps on his adversary there. There is a double tag. Yoko comes back in. Yoko and Sione go at it once again, and there's a brawl. Head Shrinkers, former tag team champions by this point, still being treated with a modicum of respect. Yokozuna trying to take his man out. Big clothesline attempted by Sione, aka the former Barbarian. Sends him out, or attempts to send him out to the floor. Doesn't get all he wants there. Does get enough, a basic crushing blow there. And Yokozuna goes to the bottom rope with the bonsai drop from the bottom rope, mainly because he can't get too far, and hits that big splash. Then there's hype for the In Your House pay-per-view, the first of its kind. Obviously, the first In Your House pay-per-view, headlined by Diesel and Psycho Sid. Two matches in that run there are very basic. And then we see Adam Bomb facing off against enhancement talent. Bomb coming off with a leapfrog drop toe hold other basic maneuvers that you don't normally see from Adam Bomb. Adam Bomb defeating Rock Warner with a flying clothesline. Super basic match though it is. Also gets that pump handle slam there in the middle. And Adam Bomb, obviously, at the time, they still were planning to do something more with him. There was talk of him maybe getting the Intercontinental title or something of that nature. Never materialized. Issues with the Click are the reason that he claims. He does throw the modified footballs out to his, I guess, former teammates there, and then we see more hype for the superstars of wrestling as a concept here, and kind of roll up there. Doc Hendricks and Vince McMahon are your tag team run there. Bertha Faye, otherwise known as Raja Singh or Rhonda Singh, um, in a women's match, basically a very basic match, um, defeating Jessica Rivera 3 minutes. Sit down powerbomb, and prior to the bout, footage is shown of Bertha breaking the nose of Alundra Blaze, the women's champion at the time, and a super basic run here. Obviously, not something that most of us are familiar with. Bertha Faye does hit the sit-up powerbomb. This is near the end of the women's run, which is closed by the fall. Big splash in the corner before that sit-out powerbomb, and Bertha Faye is very fond of her partner, lover, whomever, otherwise known as Harvey Whippleman, aka Downtown Bruno. Then we go to another in the series of squash matches here. This particular match is introduced by a young lady doing the guest ring announcer spot. Hunter Hearst Helmsley making what I believe is his television debut. The move eventually becomes the Ace Crusher, aka Stone Cold Stunner, but is originally called the Pedigree. The Pedigree obviously switches after Diamond Dallas Page basically asks him not to use the Diamond Cutter Stunner type maneuver. Around this time period, since Dallas Page is getting it over. Very basic punch kick, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley doing the aristocrat type gimmick instead of what we're used to seeing him as over the coming years. Is just interesting. Also, hype for Sid versus Diesel for the World Championship coming up here, and the $1 Million Man brings his men out. Obviously, the $1 Million Corporation, still a major heel stable here. Never really got over to the level he could have. Ted DiBiase might not have been the best of opportunities. Tatanka facing off against the enhancement talent of his day. Enhancement talent even gets a sunset flip off on Tatanka. That match is currently, really basic as it were. Tatanka hits the Papoose to go, aka the Samoan drop, and gets a victory along the way in this squash match. Tatanka thing done by about the beginning of the next year, so about 6 months, 7 months or so before he's done. I think his last appearance is Royal Rumble 96 at the time. Anyway, The Undertaker against Dave Sigmund comes up next, but before that we have the Skip and Sonny basically telling people they're fat and out of shape. Dave Sigmund against The Undertaker. Undertaker hits him with the running clothesline and the tombstone into the body bag, and The Undertaker back with a more aggressive style right on the heels of the In Your House pay-per-view. Paul Bearer, of course, with The Undertaker, and that will close us out for this. We'll be back with more right after this, and we'll be back with more action.